That seems to be my usual protocol. Welcome if you're new. I'm happy to see you if you're returning. Nobody's here yet, but we're hanging out. I figured I'd pull some cards. Wanted to ring my birthday in with you guys at midnight, so part of the other reason why I went a little bit late. And I guess while we're waiting for some people to show up, for anybody who's watching the replay, let's pull some cards. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I am trying out a new microphone, but I guess I'll have to wait till somebody comes in to let me know. All right, so let's get started while we wait for some people. And there we go. You've got the child and completion. So we are growing up. We are learning from our childhood. We're learning from our inner child. We're learning that we have different phases in our life. When we come to the cycle of completion, we're learning mastery. And oftentimes when we're children or when we're young or we're in early phases of things, that can open us up to different things, including our psychic abilities with the seer. Because of the transitional phases that we go through as children very quickly, we see things that other people don't. And that's what we see with the seer. Not only that, our psychic abilities tend to be quite a bit heightened when we are children, but we don't really understand them fully. We do have 7, which means don't give up. Things have been planted. We tend to manifest a lot when we are children and young and entering into those transitional phases because we like to think about, oh, what am I going to be when I grow up? Or, you know, when we get into new phases where we're kind of moving out of what could have seemed somewhat innocent into something a little bit more mature, a little bit more adult, we start kind of looking back on what we wanted when we were younger versus kind of where we've come at this point. So if you are here, please let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. And the completion is a level of mastery. So when we kind of look back on what we wanted, what we've accomplished, and where we are now, we start to acknowledge the things that we have completed. Oh, good. Thank you, Christopher. Hi, life's great. No, it's not evil, Isolde. Not at all. Get thee behind me, Satan. Welcome, Wes. All right, how's everybody feeling tonight? Thank you for letting me know you could hear me. It's so good to hear from you. Life's great. All right, so let's see what else is coming through. Can you get a reading? Yes. This is, I'm just pulling some cards, Ancient Cornelius. Oh, well, thank you, Christopher. You've never done this. Okay, so card for Isolde. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Oh, I love it. ASMR. I know, I love the sound of cards shuffling. All right. So we have the Serpent with 46. So that means that you are shedding your skin, shedding old thoughts, old identities, old feelings that maybe kept you small, kept you feeling trapped, kept you feeling almost stifled in your form, in your body. And as you allow that skin to shed, you begin to recognize your own beauty. You begin to see your skin glisten. You begin to glow. And you begin to feel more grounded. As the serpent tends to be close to the ground, you become closer to the earth. You become closer to the things that kept you feeling like you were beneath, but then you start to recognize how beautiful that is, that feeling of groundedness, because you're not beneath, you're seeing things from a different perspective. You get to look up and see what is happening above you, but also being a part of it. You get to expand your surroundings as well as your physical form, because you've shed the things that made you feel small. You've shed the things that kind of made you feel cramped and maybe even a bit uncomfortable in your own skin. So you're growing and you're glowing and you're doing amazing. 4 is also connected to harmony and balance, learning how to balance your energy, learning how to feel the different electrical impulses that the earth feels, as we experience that all the time as electromagnetic beings. What about depression? So when we do have depression, depression is very normal. Everybody has experiences in their realities where they feel depressed, where they feel down. When we are able to shed that from ourselves through self-recognition, we are also able to shift our perceptions around. Libra girl or Aquarius girl and Libra boy. I am a Libra. Howdy, Brian. Hello, Kalis fan. Humongous. Areolus liqui. Or I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. So Isolde, as you allow yourself to kind of shed old identities, old perceptions, basically what people told you you were supposed to be, what they told you were supposed to become, and acknowledging that that isn't you, that you don't have to wear those identities any longer, and you don't have to stay in that skin that you may have existed in that time before, where other people's thoughts, opinions, and ideas about you, they shaped who you were at that time. But now that you've allowed yourself to acknowledge and shed that skin, you're growing. And it's a beautiful thing. A princess from the never-ending story, just a bit older. I love that. I loved that movie when I was a kid. I wish I could remember more of it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. No. Falcor, yes. Ooh, I stuck to the chair. Incredible. Hello, Charwaki, Chwile, and more. I'm so bad at names. You guys are going to have to forgive me. All right, so let's get another card for the collective. Let's see what comes in. Yes, Falcor was the big, fluffy, white, flying dog dragon thing. Gemini, Brian, welcome. Fragile Rock. Fraggle Rock? Oh, you lost your connection. That's okay, you can always watch the replay. Basically, long story short, you've allowed yourself to recognize old identities that were not yours, that were ideas and opinions that other people had put on you. And that does give you depression. It makes you feel small. It makes you question yourself. It makes you question your identity. It makes you question who you are. So the more you let that go, the more you let that skin shed from your being, you grow, you become glowing, you start to experience life in a whole new way. And it helps you kind of pull out of that depression, and it doesn't happen right away. Just like when you shed your skin, it's not instantaneous. It's a process. It's a process of releasing. So don't be afraid to release, and don't be afraid to, how do you find yourself again? You have to acknowledge that certain states that you are currently in and that you were in were a part of the stages that you were meant to go through in order to understand who you were and who you aren't. So if it doesn't feel like you, then don't continue living that life. Because if you continue living a life that is based on other people's perception of you, you will repeat that cycle over and over again. So don't be afraid to let that skin shed. It's not going to happen instantaneously. It is a process. But you begin to find yourself more and more as you allow that skin to remove itself from your identity, essentially. Don't wear the jacket that other people put on you. Pick one that you like. And it's not an easy process. It's a continuous process, and it takes time. And it's not always the most comfortable thing. You have to really sit with yourself. And the cards are basically saying just let go. Let go of those identities. Don't let them tell you who you are, Isolde. You are something that you maybe don't even know yet. But until you let go of the opinions that have told you who you are, you won't be able to find that part of yourself. So if something doesn't feel like you, but somebody says it's you, don't believe them. One of the best mantras is, I am who I am, and that is enough. Absolutely. You are enough. No matter what stage, phase, or place that you are in right now, you're always going to be enough, no matter what anybody tells you. All right, so we have the Jaguar with 28. So that's connected to our more primal selves. The Jaguar is a very, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm better at like visual things, so I have to try to figure out how to put them in words. When I think of the Jaguar, I think of this very strong, very powerful, very primal animal, beast, whatever you want to refer to them. But they also are incredibly intelligent. They know how to protect themselves, and they know how to stay hidden when they need to be and make themselves known when they need to be. So allowing yourself to make decisions and choices that are going to put you in places where you need to be at the time you need to be, but also kind of pulling yourself back when the time is right, so you don't always have to be visible. Sometimes it's okay to kind of sit back and watch and observe, and then when it's time to kind of pounce, that's when you make yourself visible. Yes. All right. So, and that goes for you too, Isolde. Don't be afraid to make yourself visible when it's time, but sometimes it is important to observe and observe your surroundings, observe where you are in the moment. And in those times of observation, you can also identify whether your environment is a place that you need to be, or if you need to move to different grounds where there is going to be more abundance for you. Hello, Lorenzo. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Hey, been so long since I have seen your channel. Welcome, Illuminated Spirit. I'm so happy to have you here. I know I have been kind of doing my own thing lately, doing my own observing myself, finding myself in that sense, learning who I want to be and who I don't want to be anymore. Play Freebird and Boof DMT. Anita! Ah, you have a different screen name. It is so good to have you back. I've missed you. And if I miss anybody's comments, they do tend to... I don't have any music to play Chemicals with Love. Thank you. Thank you. I made it myself. I do have a pendant that I will be putting in the shop tomorrow. I actually was trying to put it in today and I got distracted because I was trying to figure out like what shipping costs are because I haven't shipped anything out in a really long time. And yeah, distractions happened and I never did get it posted on my Etsy shop. But my Etsy shop is in the information box. If you go to the description, you can see the link to my store. I have readings available there as well. My name, Faery. So it looks like we have a lot of new faces here. Good morning, Danny Jason. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm really bad with names, guys. Just to let you all know, I'm not great with them. What kind of music have you been into lately? You seem very in tune with what keeps the frequency going. I actually listen to all kinds of different music. I've kind of been a little bit into metalcore lately just because it's kind of channeling my anger and as I'm kind of like stepping into my power more, it's very powerful. I do have some songs that I've been playing around with. My instruments are kind of in the process, my guitar is getting fixed, and I haven't really had a whole lot of time to play my bass, but eventually I will be rewriting the songs that I have using live instrumentation as well as my own voice. Right now I've been just kind of playing around with ideas with lyrics that I've written in the past and more recently with AI music. So if you guys are familiar with that, you're welcome to check out some of the songs that I have posted. We also have the upper world, which is showing this level of ascending into our higher selves, into our higher consciousness, changes into our more illuminated sense of being. And in that sense, here I am repeating words, in that sense, allowing things that made us, our light, our brightness dimmer, is now kind of being pushed away as we shine brighter. We don't have to dim our light for the sake of other people to shine. Any song recommendations? Check out Psyche's Redemption. You'll really like it. Your earrings are so cute. Oh, yes. I stretched them a couple years ago. I was scared to do it. It was really fun though. It hurt, but it was pretty cool. It was a good experience, and it's kind of nice because I just can keep them in, and they're just always there, and they're pretty. I like them, and it kind of like accentuates my pointy ears. I have really, really small ears, so it also helps them not be so teeny tiny. Yeah, so check out Psyche's Redemption, see if you like that one, Chemicals with Love. There's a couple other on there. Yeah. Hi, Fairy. Thank you for your words. You're welcome, Isolde, and I'm so happy you're here. And just remember, you're always enough. Even when you feel small, you have the opportunity to kind of shed whatever was keeping you feeling small and grow. Yeah. So, it's funny because this card also has wings. So it's time to spread your wings. Time to fly. You don't have to keep yourself limited to your surroundings. You can explore. You can achieve great things if you believe that you can achieve those things. Advice before you leave, you have to put your kids to bed. Cherish the small moments, especially with your kids. They grow really fast, and sometimes those moments, they're so fleeting, and when we look back on them, I guess my biggest thing that I always, because I get like the little memories on my photos, I'm like, they were so tiny and they were so small, and you know, you miss those moments, but then you also acknowledge like their own growth. I have a 15-year-old who's turning 16 in just a couple weeks, and it's like, wow, how did that happen so quickly? He was so small, just so recently. So cherish those moments. Give them extra love, and sometimes it's nice to just watch them when they don't think you're watching and just observe their beauty and their own growing cycles. And we learn a lot from our kids. I've learned so much from my kids. If it wasn't for my kids, I probably wouldn't have been able to do the extensive healing that I've done with my childhood experiences, which they were just intense. And so that intensity was hard to manage going through my teenage and into adult phases. So once I became a mother, I started learning from my own children the experiences that I had and how to make things better for them. Like what made me sad, what made me feel small when I was a child, and how do I avoid that in my own children, or how do I assist them in their own growth. All right, so let's see. And then we have the blade. Vow, my pals. No way. It's been so long. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. So we have the blade, which is cutting off old ties that no longer serve us. And it's funny because we have the phases of the moon here across that blade. So as we go through different phases and stages in our life, we have connections and we have experiences with people that are good and bad. So learning to disconnect from the experiences that no longer serve you, that maybe shaped parts of yourself that you no longer identify with, cutting those cords that were still draining you will help free you from binds that no longer need to be a part of your reality. So just let it go. It is so good to see you, Val, my pals. You were a teen mom and then a mom in your 20s and 30s. I didn't have my first kid until I was 23. But even then, I still felt so young. I'm turning 39, and my birthday is tomorrow. So technically not until 10:14 a.m., but I was hoping kind of we could ring in the midnight hour with a good happy birthday. I mean, if we're getting super technical, my birthday was 2 days ago, but legally it's tomorrow. There was some discrepancies with my birth certificate. So I was actually born on the 26th, but my birthday is the 28th. So we have the hummingbird as well. Tiny but mighty. Hummingbirds are strong and powerful little beings. They're so small, but they're so powerful, and they're just really beautiful. I don't think I've ever sat and observed such beauty as watching a hummingbird flitting around. I just love them. So as we kind of flit around, experiencing the beauty of flowers, sucking the nectar out of our lives, in that sense, enjoying the beautiful things even when they seem small, they are big. If you don't let go of the negative energy, there will not be room for positive. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Your story about your kids and being a mother is so relatable. Oh, I'm so glad. And your kiddos are so cute. I'm not on social media anymore, but from what I remember. Yes. And we also have 2 here with 6. So this is connected to making choices that bring change. And with that change, we're able to acknowledge that transitional phase of where we once were and where we are now, and acknowledging the blessings that we receive from the knowledge we gained from before through the transitional changes that allowed us to move into that level of 6, which is honoring ourselves, honoring our past, and allowing new things to happen, allowing blessings to come in. Words are hard tonight. I can't seem to get them right. Thank you, Val, my pals. Gosh, it's so weird. I have a teenager. I don't think he was a teenager last time I saw you. All right, and then we have the Earth Keeper with 18. So these are new beginnings that also are connected to our own manifestations, connecting with the earth, connecting with our ability to create realities through our connection to the earth, because the earth is our home. The earth is our mother, literally. And so as we protect our mother, as we protect our home, we're also protecting the things that we want to have happen in our future realities, acknowledging your past, the things that you don't want to return into your future in this now moment allows for new neural patterns to be created in your mind. And those are ways to manifest, because our mind is everything. What we believe, how we feel, and what we think that we deserve also becomes our future. That's why when they say the moment is now, it's because the past, the present, and the future are all entangled in with each other. And if you acknowledge your past, you learn from it, you know how to not repeat it in the future. And when we're talking about the earth and manifestation, think about planting a seed. When you plant a seed, it doesn't pop out of the ground right away. It has to sit there, it has to germinate, it has to be watered, it has to be taken care of. So allow yourself to water your soul. Take care of the things that you do desire in the future. Water those seeds, and then they will grow. It doesn't happen instantaneously, but it does happen. And the growth is gradual. You begin with, you know, just a sprout that gets a little bit bigger, and then it begins to grow leaves, and it begins to show blossoms or fruit, and that's when the fruition begins to happen. And even in that sense, it's still a period of growth. Your fruit doesn't ripen the minute it begins to show itself. The cards mean different things to everybody. It's like what feels the most in alignment with your experience that you're having right now. What do you resonate with the most? Yes. So we do have a lot of wings showing up in these cards. So a lot of you are just learning how to kind of fly, spread those wings, and explore yourselves, explore the world, explore your environments. You don't have to stay put. You can explore what is possible for you. Go on an adventure. See things that you have never seen before. Do things that you never did before. Don't be afraid to try something that maybe is a little bit scary, because if you could imagine a baby bird learning to fly, that's got to be terrifying for them. But once they do it, once they get those wings flapping, they're able to explore so much more outside of that tiny little space, that tiny little nest. Yes. Right. So we have the medicine wheel with fire. So fire is medicine. Fire is a form of transmutation. Fire can also burn your house down. So understanding the potency and the power behind your own fire and learning how to wield it in a way that moves you forward and keeps you warm rather than destroying everything around you. That's one of the most powerful medicines that you can use with yourself and in your reality and in your life. Like, what have I been doing that has been keeping my fire from being able to burn brighter? How do we stoke that fire? How do we add more, fuel to that fire in order to move into our next stage in life, in order to create the reality that we want? Moving out of energies that made us feel cold and allowing more warmth to come into that reality. So I'm going to actually switch decks now. I probably shouldn't have stacked them on top of each other. That wasn't very smart. There we go. So since we're talking about healing, I want to bring out my healing deck. Queen of 17. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. I was hoping I would see you. Welcome. I just pulled out my healing deck also. Oh, one of the wires is a little bit tight on my forehead. Yay! It's healing time, absolutely. And that's kind of a big theme lately with a lot of people that I've connected with, is just a lot of healing happening, a lot of big changes, like big changes in their lives and their realities. And those big changes allow us to release the old and bring in the new and heal things that sometimes we didn't even realize needed healing until they were kind of thrown right in front of our face, like, hey, you need to look at this and start working on this so that you can get better. Thank you. It's actually the one I used to wear in my old live streams, but the moldavite fell out and disappeared. So I put a little amethyst in there. Yes. I have another crown that I'm working on for Bernadette, and I keep trying to get one in my shop, but it's always claimed before I even get it finished, so I haven't had the opportunity to get any in my shop yet. I do have a pendant that I will be putting in my shop soon. Where did I put it? I was polishing it earlier. I feel like I'm going to stick to my chair if I stand up. Yep. Where did I put it? Here it is. All right, I've got it. And I'll have this in my shop tomorrow. This pendant, it's labradorite. So if you like this, definitely check out my shop and it will be available. I got distracted when I was trying to figure out how to do shipping because I haven't shipped anything out in years. And I know prices have changed a lot. I was like, am I going to be able to do international shipping, or I have to keep everything local to the US? I really should put something on my chair because every time I move, I feel like I'm sticking to it. It was hot in here earlier. Thank you. Thank you. I have a couple other ones that are like not finished, smaller ones that should be hopefully available soon as well. If anybody is interested, I have readings available in my shop, and those are personalized readings. They're usually 30 minutes long, although I can never seem to keep them at 30 minutes. I'm just going to be honest with you, they tend to be a bit longer. Yes, I'm doing readings. It's kind of collective. If you would like personal card, I can pull one for you real quick. We've got omens 31, and so we have the owl here, which is showing wisdom. We also have night and day, so it's about recognizing the signs that we see in our reality. Maybe we used to see them as bad omens, but really they're just they're like a flag saying, hey, pay attention. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe in the past you thought it was, but it's an acknowledgement of something you don't want to experience anymore, something that you don't want to have in your reality anymore. And how do you make the changes and the shifts in your own mental state, in your own mind, your ideas and your thoughts around that? And in those moments that you shift those ideas and those thoughts, you also shift your reality, because our reality is just our thoughts and our feelings and our minds. Like, what do we think about every day, and how does that affect our reality? When we shift those feelings and those thoughts, we allow ourselves to not only acknowledge our past, our shadows from the past, and turn those into our power. So pain becoming power, and lessons becoming blessings. So we also have 31, so 3 is connected to creativity, fertility, birthing new ideas, new projects, new realities, and the 1 represents new beginnings. So the 2 together, it's like birthing a new reality into something entirely new, something entirely different, creating your own baby. How is Vinny doing? It's been a while. I bet he's so big now. I don't have a way to keep, I do have my watch on though. If anybody sees that it gets after minutes, 11:17. If I am still talking and we ring in midnight, let me know so we can do happy birthday. John Binney sent me something in my email. It said, don't open till my birthday. So if he shows up, I'll let him know I got that. He's 5 and he's a hoot. Doing great. Oh my God. They grow so fast, right? All right, so let's see what we got going on. What do we want to heal as far as a collective? What are we working on right now for healing? Forgiveness. We're learning forgiveness. And here we are with the night and day. We have that twice now showing up. And as you can see, as the light is being suppressed underneath the wall of our emotions, the water, it's almost like there's a barrier. And this can also represent depression. But in those moments of sadness, in those moments where we feel like we're surrounded by darkness, we also are in that period of like that seed that's in the earth that is growing. And those emotions are the water that we can use to grow that seed. So how can we use our emotions in a positive manner? If you're sad, why are you sad? And how can you shift your feelings around that sadness? How can you find happiness in that sadness? It's not always the easiest thing, I am going to tell you. We have our own place and the cutest art mural we live in art. It's awesome. I love that. And you work in a shelter. You're amazing. You've come so far. Like you're my hero. Like honestly, you've really shown me like working from the ground up and becoming just so strong and so powerful. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how far you've come. You're amazing. All right. So, integration 33, master healer. Here we are with that snake shedding its skin. We have the weeping willow touching the water with the moon setting. So that's kind of funny. I feel like we're following a very significant theme here. Allowing the things that used to make us feel sad, acknowledging them, and learning from them, turning our pain into power, turning the things that kept us down and using them to rise above. I love you. Guess what? I made top in PHS Fashion Away. October 11th, we will be at the Girls River Casino for the biggest fashion show in the Southwest. Are you still making dresses? Top 10 for the little black dress challenge. Oh, I love that. Are you still making dresses? Oh my gosh, you're so talented. Thank you, Jania. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Thank you so much. You're a blessing, Jania. I'm happy you're here. All right, so integrating our healing power. 33 is such a significant connection to not only our creativity and our ability to birth new things. When you double that, that's means like not only using that as a way to create realities, but also to bring abundance into those realities. So you're birthing these dreams, you're birthing these realities, you're creating things, and within those creation moments, you're being inspired, and that creation is growing and doubling, literally. So as you become more creative, you're inspired by even more creativity, and it just starts flowing out of you. Yes. Whenever I'm starting to write lyrics to a song, it's literally like 1 or 2 words that start off, or it'll be just like one short phrase that I hear in my head, and I'll just write it down, and then it'll be another line, and then it'll be another line, and then another line. And this song that was never even born prior to that one thought, that one line, or that one singular word has now been birthed into this whole song. And so don't be afraid to just start something creative, even if you don't know where it's going, because just starting that is going to birth something beautiful that you didn't even know was possible. I've never been very good at words. Words are hard. But I do have a poetic mind, and I have poetic thoughts. And so putting them on paper allows me to express that poetry that would have just been suppressed if I didn't take those moments to sit down and write. And a lot of times I don't. I'll be in places and I'll have these thoughts, I'll have these ideas, and I'll be like, well, I can't right now. And then it's gone, and it never gets to become the song that it could have been. So even sometimes, like if it's just 5 minutes, just take that 5 minutes, or even if it's just 5 seconds, to write it down real quick. And then just that little moment, it's like putting a pin in something, and you may have to come back later and sew the stitch, but you have the pin there to kind of hold that thought, and the creativity can start to flow once more. So you're never too busy to take just a moment to write something down, whether it's putting it in the notes in your phone. That's what I've been doing a lot. My Samsung Notes is full of random little phrases that will eventually become songs at one point. And it's usually based on a feeling that I'm having in that moment, whether I'm feeling down, whether I'm feeling defeated, whether I'm feeling angry. Sometimes something somebody says will sound so poetic in my mind that it will inspire a whole song around it. A couple years ago, I had watched, I don't even remember the video, but they had said something at the very end of the video that was, "The joy of being you is always worth being misunderstood." And I just wrote that line down like a couple years ago. And it wasn't until very recently, maybe a few months ago, that it actually became a song. It inspired a whole song about silent wars. So that'll be something that I'll put out soon, because that actually means a lot to me, that song. And especially with what's happening right now in the world and society, our thoughts are heavily programmed by our environments and our surroundings. So it's like, how do we recognize when we're kind of being told what to think rather than thinking for ourselves? Very well, my condolences to you and your family. Thank you, Firestar. Are you interested in the truth? The truth is what you feel is the truth. It's not your truth isn't always going to be the same as somebody else's truth. So you have to acknowledge, just because somebody else believes something and that's their truth, it doesn't have to be yours. Because sometimes our truth, what we believe in that moment is our truth, isn't really ours. It's an idea or perception that somebody else told us and we believe them. So just because somebody told you it was true doesn't mean it is. So be your own person. Use critical thinking always, and question everything. Right. Healing energy. And we have this egg, or you can even see it as a seed, depending on how you perceive it. It is surrounded by this golden glow. It could be dirt, it could be light. We also have 20 here, so 2, making choices and decisions to break out of our shells, to allow the seed to begin to sprout, to become, rather than encased in that shell reality, breaking through and becoming this new thing, this little chickadee that eventually grows up to be a bird and flies and explores the world. Hello, Tech Speed, welcome. Cool. Can you check Shika Kumari Segal current feelings for Manpreet Singh? Are you talking about like a relationship type card? Like how Shika is feeling about Manpreet? I just want to be able to ask the right questions. I may need a different deck for that. Let's see. All right, so, oh, that was close. Foundations and achievement with 4. So there may be an idea that there's potential for harmony, whether it's a family relationship or friendship that is harmonious, somebody that feels like family. This could be soul family. This could be potential partnership that turns into family, or this could be just a really strong support system. This person could be somebody that you can trust, that you can feel supported by, or they can feel that way about you. But there is something very beautiful. We have the rainbow over the home. We do have that family. So achieving a level of understanding between your connection, that it could be something very beautiful, very foundational, very supportive. All right, so I keep sticking to my foot. Oh, the sensory no-no. Okay. All right, I lost connection for a minute, so let's go ahead and bring those cards back up. So we have partnerships and alliances with positive movement forward. So some of you guys are building really powerful support systems that are making you feel, oh, thank you, John. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And in these connections, in these support systems that we are creating with other people, that's all about reaching out for help rather than remaining isolated. And I think one of the hardest things when we do need help is asking for it. Because especially if you're hyper independent, you don't want to ask for help. Or if things in the past, times in the past when you did ask for help have always come back to bite you, there's this level of fear, almost like a trauma response, where like, if I do ask for help, like, what strings are going to be attached? So this is about reaching up and asking for help without that fear, and because of that, it's creating positive movement forward. So new opportunities to move forward with your life, new opportunities to move forward with your group, I don't know where I was going with that one. Maybe group systems, so finding like a good community or a group of people that make you feel supported. That kind of that lifting up of that support system helps you kind of take steps forward, because oftentimes when we feel like we can't pick ourselves up, we can stay there for a long time. So reaching out and letting somebody kind of help you up and take those first steps. Each step you take, you move forward a little bit. So even taking a trip with somebody that makes you feel supported can open up new opportunities. You can meet new people, you can see new places and be like, oh wow, I actually didn't know I could go here, and maybe I could even build a life here. Sometimes just a small vacation can open up big things. Don't be afraid to move out of old lives, old jobs, old careers, old relationships, old living situations. If you don't feel happy, if you feel stuck, reach out for help. Reach out for a support system. Be like, hey, I need some support. I need some help, whether it's money, whether it's emotional support, or just somebody to encourage you and be like, you can do it. Because sometimes that's all you need, somebody to just be like, you know what, I already know you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. And in that moment, you can also start beginning to believe in yourself, because you're like, well, if they believe in me, maybe I should too. Oh, thank you. Thank you, John. You have a nice day as well. Hi, Goo. How are you? Welcome if you're new. Happy to have you here. We're just pulling some cards for the collective. And love begins. Some of you guys are falling in love. Not just with other people, with yourself, with your potential. When we start to kind of love ourselves more, nurture ourselves more, we fill our own cups. And through that self-love, through that self-care, we open ourselves up to loving relationships, loving experiences, and loving realities. So there's a lot of love happening. Don't be afraid to step out and experience that love, especially if you're holding on to a lot of things from the past. We literally have the bowl filling the stream. So fill your cup and watch it overflow. I want to know my luck I am in a relationship with. Let's see. Give me a card for Goo about their relationship. Will the relationship be completed? I'm not sure what you mean by that. You mean like ending or taking the next step? We'll see what the cards say. Let's see. Okay, we have fertility. So there is growth happening within the relationship. There's an opportunity to expand if you want to grow. There's the heart chakra is lit up and illuminated. So open your heart to that relationship and allow new parts of the relationship to be born. So if there's this ending that you're feeling that could be happening, it's also the potential for a new beginning within that relationship. And if not in that relationship, in a relationship that's going to be fertile, that's going to grow your soul, that's going to allow your heart to heal. If you're trying to have children, there could be children involved in the potential future. So just keep that in mind. Hello, Jenny Lee. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And then we have sacrifices. There's always sacrifices that have to be made in order for things to grow. For anybody here who's been a mother, you literally have to sacrifice things. So many things. Your body goes through so many changes. You have to give up a lot of foods that maybe you like to eat. I remember for me it was eating sandwiches because you can't really eat lunch meat because there's potential to get listeria, which could make your baby very sick. And a lot of times you have to give up things that you used to do before there we go. So we're doing collective at this point. I did pull a card for Goo earlier, but we are in a collective reading. So moving on from our old lives into new lives. When we sacrifice the old, we allow for new things to happen. We allow ourselves to move out of the because we have like the muddy water, the things that were slowing us down. In order to move forward, we do have to sacrifice things that were keeping us stuck. Whether it's bad habits or bad situations, we have to let them go. We have to be willing to sacrifice them, literally, and move on from them, move out of the shadows and into the light, into this new growth and this new abundance. We have leaves that are dying into leaves that are green and vibrant. You are here, John Vinny, welcome. I am so excited to open your email tomorrow. Yes, I got it, and it said to be opened on your birthday, so I've been waiting. There's also a beautiful energy of transition here. The fall is when everything dies and goes dormant, but trees need that in order to continue living. A lot of trees have to go through that death process in order to be reborn into healthy trees. They have to shed their leaves. They have to go dormant. And then in the springtime, they grow all new leaves. So let those leaves fall, you guys. Let yourselves go into those quiet periods of time in winter where you're allowing for new things to be birthed, literally. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm guessing it's going to be a song, which I'm really excited about too. And anybody who's in the chat, John Binney, so some of the first music I put out on YouTube was with John Binney. We did quite a few collaborations together, and if it wasn't for John Binney, I probably wouldn't have been as active musically. I wouldn't have been as brave to kind of share myself with the world in that sense. I mean, I've been performing. I've been in a musician my whole life. I started performing on stage when I was still a teenager in a band with my parents. And so music has always been a big part of my life, but doing it like through a platform like YouTube was a little bit scary for me. I wasn't fully prepared for where it was going to go. And honestly, I'm so glad I did that. And those collaborations that we made are still available on John Binney's channel, and I think most of them are on your channel. I have them on BandLab. If anybody goes on BandLab, I have them there. I should post some of them if they're not available anymore. I haven't checked back on all my old videos in such a long time. You spoke with a 1,000-year-old tree this week and said it had died 1,000 times. That's so incredible. It's been such fun to collab with you. Thank you. I have a playlist for our collabs. So if you can post links, I don't know if you can post it. Otherwise, you can email me the link and I'll post it on my community page. And I'm going to try to download some of our old songs off from BandLab and post those too, because those were so much fun. And it was such a good experience. I think I've done more collaborations with John Binney than I've done with anybody, as far as like writing music and posting it and sharing it with the world. I've done, songs with Brett as well, but they haven't really been available. Some of them were posted and might still be posted on the Ritual 216 page, but I'm not 100% sure. Yes, yay, he did post the link. Awesome. So if anybody wants to check out some of our old songs, please check the link that John Binney just posted. I'm so excited. And we've got to be getting close to midnight, right? 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes. All right, so question for the chat. What was your greatest death and rebirth moment, and how did that shape you into who you are now? Because sometimes we don't even realize it until we start thinking about it. Like, wow, that was a really intense experience I had in the past. Like, that was really hard. Like, I literally had to let everything go. But because of that, I got to experience this whole new reality, this whole new life. Full death, full rebirth. Oh, thank you, John Binney. And so there's also a live stream. It's on my community tab that I did recently with Viviani and John Binney. That was it was so incredible. It was my first time doing a live stream with other people on YouTube. And I did get a microphone. Brett got me one for my birthday so that I could be heard better. I've been having trouble with people hearing me. I think it's this new phone, to be perfectly honest, because since I've got this new phone, it's like, even my tarot readings I was struggling with. Luckily, I do an MP3 file with them along with the video, so if you ever have a hard time hearing them, you can go to the MP3 file, because I cranked the volume up to like 300 on that one. Yeah. My greatest death and rebirth was my deepest, darkest shadow work in the summer of 23. I faced my greatest fear of lack. Stop pushing too hard. It forced me to stop for months. Oh my gosh. I can relate to that so much. Like, okay, so similar time frame. I disappeared for like a whole year. I completely disappeared from all social media. I am right now too as well. I'm disappeared off from social media. But yeah, you felt like you lost one of your 9 lives, but you still got 8 more. Oh, lost ship, floating out into sea. But guess what? Eventually you come upon an island or a chunk of land, and then you get to experience a whole new reality in that space. You get to meet new people. You get to see parts of yourself that you never would have seen if you hadn't become lost. Because sometimes we have to be lost before we can truly be found. It's in those moments of loss that we realize who we truly are. I then found myself out after months of inner work and healing. Yeah, see, that's the hermit. Like, that period of isolation, that period of feeling lost, is when you aren't surrounded by other people's opinions and ideas of who you are as a person, who your expression is, and your identity. You have that quiet, that solitude. You don't have that external input. And without the external input, without people telling you who you are, what you're supposed to be, or what you're supposed to become, it's only in those moments that you can decide for yourself who you are, who you want to be, and who you are supposed to, who you are going to become. Yes. Who you see now was created by that experience, absolutely. And I feel the same way. As much as I love the old fairy, there was still a lot of external input that was shaping who she was. And I felt like there was identities that were being created around those perceptions, and I was limiting myself because of it. So I had to step back in order for Fairy to be reborn in her truth and in her power. I created a song, Lost Ship. It took me months to create. I released it as I returned to the public. That's incredible, John, because you were doing like a song every day. They were just like popping off. So, I mean, that song probably has some really incredible depth to it and a lot of meaning. And I'm sure every time you go back and listen to it, it just like, it hits those deep points inside of you, and it just helps you grow from that depth. Those are seeds that were deeply, deeply planted, but because they were planted so deep, they also have the strongest roots, and they can grow into the biggest trees because they have that strength and that depth to hold the weight of that tall, tall tree. I love all the versions of Fairy. So proud of your rebirth. Yes, I'm like the champion of death and rebirth. Lost Ship song. Check out the link John Benny has on there for his new song. And then we have Patience. Literally just talking about this. Like, see the word Patience. He has a seed in his hand as it's growing and it's beginning to blossom. There's all these different phases of growth that we experience as our seed is beginning to grow. Notice also that the eyes aren't fully open. There's more of a gaze fixated on that specific seed. You're not looking around and seeing what everybody else thinks of that seed and of that growth. You're seeing it just for yourself. And that's the most important thing. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think about your flower that's growing. It's okay that they think it's beautiful. That's wonderful. But there's always going to be people that are going to be like, that's an ugly flower. And then that can impact your perception on, like, why do they think it's ugly? What about it is ugly? And is it ugly? You start having those questions. And so fixate your gaze on your own growth, on your own seed that's blossoming before you. And ignore the external input that's maybe has a different idea of it, because everybody sees things differently. They could think it's ugly, but it doesn't matter what they think. It only matters what you think. Their opinion of you and your seed is none of your business. I have a private personal celebration every year of my rebirth. Happy rebirth day, yay! Yeah, I have been experiencing quite the rebirth, but it's been beautiful, and it's allowed for things to be acknowledged and things to shift around relationships that I had with people in my environment, people in my reality, that without those changes, I don't think that the relationship or the connection could have changed in the way that it needed to in order for there to be healthy connection, healthy communication, and boundaries. Because when we allow our boundaries to fall for the sake of other people, we lose ourselves. And so creating healthy boundaries also creates healthy communication, and also creates, this level of independence and autonomy for ourselves without without that external input. You're not allowing their opinions to affect you anymore. So whether this is a coworker, a friend, a family member that's making you feel a certain kind of way or doubting something about you, and then you begin to doubt that in yourself. I think one of the most significant things that I went through a few years ago was when I was diagnosed with autism. I was still doubting it because other people around me didn't believe it. Even though I had a on paper written evaluation that said that I was autistic, there was still parts of me that was like, well, maybe they got it wrong. Well, maybe I was so good at faking it that they believed it. And then you're like, but this is how I've always been. That's how I always was. I just never understood what it meant until, I was given the information that I needed to understand and acknowledge it. So that in itself was a big death and rebirth process for me, because it's like, even with the on paper, like, medical diagnosis, you still question, like, is this real? Am I actually autistic? And I doubted it for a long time because I wasn't able to feel that support from a lot of my surroundings, because a lot of people don't even understand it. They don't understand what it's supposed to represent, and they have an idea of what it's supposed to look like. Autism doesn't have a look. It doesn't. It is a spectrum, and everybody feels it differently. And I think my biggest eye-opener was through my kids. I have 2 kids that are also autistic. And so acknowledging that a lot of things that I was like, oh, they get that from me, oh, they get that from me, was also part of their experience as autistic children. It also helped me acknowledge, oh, well, maybe this is why those things happened when I was a kid. Like, I had to do speech therapy when I was a kid, and I always just thought it was because I wasn't good at talking. But I realized, autism is very much connected to your communication. That's why a lot of autistic kids don't talk until they're older. And even my own kids didn't really speak very much until they were older. I remember I would see kids that were their age, and I over and over, wow, they talk so good. Like, wow, why don't my kids talk that good? Oh, they just get that from me because I'm not good at talking. But I also learned how beautiful it is, and how our brains are wired so differently that we see the world differently. And because of that, I'm so grateful, because I've experienced life in such a different way that I have the ability to perceive, not only through the understanding of neurotypical placement, because when you're undiagnosed until you're 35, you're constantly put into, this is how you're supposed to act, this is how you're supposed to be, you're not supposed to be like that, even though you are. And I was able to shed all of those, like, that's not ever how I'm supposed to be, and no matter how hard I try, I'm never going to be able to be that way. So I'm just going to be how I am and how I want to be, and I'm going to talk how I want. I don't really talk like with a lisp as bad. My stutter isn't as bad. It still comes out every now and then. But I had a lot of help as a kid. I had a lot of teachers that advocated for me and helped me even with my struggles, because they could see that I was actually very intelligent and that I was very smart, and that the things that I was struggling with wasn't because of a lack of intelligence. There were other things that were creating challenges. And not because I was dumb or I had a low IQ. I was actually very smart. I just really struggled. Yes. The seed flower. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. We judge our own beauty. Absolutely. It's taken me a long time to acknowledge my own beauty. I've had people tell me I'm beautiful, but I didn't believe it for a really long time. I always kind of felt like an ugly duckling. And even when I was younger, I used to wear like a lot of makeup, like really dark makeup, and because I was trying to make my face different than what it was. And now that I've learned to really acknowledge my face, my features, I've been able to lighten up on it a lot. And I've also been able to just really appreciate my own beauty and tell myself, yeah, you're gorgeous. Like, own it. Acknowledge your own beauty. It's okay. It's not, you're not vain by telling yourself you're beautiful. It's important to do that. Yes. Thank you, Fairy. Yes, boundaries are so powerful. Hard castle walls allow a soft, open heart to feel safe. Coca beer. I don't know that language. Coca beer. Shakshmolik. Jacuzzi. You need to listen to it, sister. Okay. I will have to look back on the chat and copy and paste that because I am not going to remember that. And I probably said it completely wrong, so just warning you there. I have a piece of hair that's like tickling my forehead. Yes. That is so powerful, Fairy. Thank you for sharing. My wife is a classroom assist for autistic kids. She loves them so much. They're so incredible. And I've learned so much through my children's brains. My son has a lot of struggles with school. And I see a lot of them in myself, like how I struggled with school. I have never been formally diagnosed with dyslexia, but I've always had problems with like reading and writing things in order. And I used to get down on myself for that. And I'd be like, I'm writing too fast, or I'm speaking too fast, and it's coming out in soup rather than in, flow. So through that acknowledgement, I can also see, oh, you're writing these things completely out of order. You need to slow down and you need to kind of take it step by step, word by word, rather than just scribbling it out on paper. Girl, I thought you were like 20 years old. I'm turning 39 in 4 minutes. 39, it'll be my last year in my 30s. I feel autism is one beautiful example of our human consciousness expanding, less norms, more expansive diversity. Absolutely. So when you're still in the womb of your mother, your brain goes through synaptic pruning in order to develop in a specific way. Autistic children have less synaptic pruning, so their brains are more there's a lot more electrical impulse. There's a lot more input that happens. This is why autistic kids become so overwhelmed by their sensory surroundings. And I can tell you from my experience, like I had jury duty like a week ago and had a major panic attack, and so opportunity to YouTube is not going to let me talk about this. It keeps kicking me off. Just know that, sensory overwhelm is a thing, and if you are autistic or you know somebody who is, they're not being overly dramatic. Literally everything is so much more intense. Every sound, every smell, environments are more intense. And this is, I tried disconnecting my Wi-Fi. Hopefully my internet is better. Either that, YouTube doesn't like what I'm talking about. Your birthday is tomorrow, Lisa? Mine is too. No way. It's in 1 minute. We can ring in our birthdays together. Fairy is a beauty. Thank you. Thank you, Val, my pals. Thank you, Jenny Lee. I struggled so much at school. I used to have to go to a remedial class taken out of mainstream a lot. Yes, I was a short bus kid. I had to have a special schedule because I could not handle like full classes. I would get so overwhelmed that I would have to go to the nurse's office. Yes. Thank you, John. I feel, oh yeah, I read that one already. Yes. Oh, happy birthday, Lisa. Oh, is it birthday time? It's 12. Happy birthday. Yay. Oh, I'm so excited. Yay. Thank you, Val, my pals. Hi, John. You're back. You came back just in time. I am officially 39. Happy birthday, Lisa. Happy Libra Day. Libra Virgo cusp day. Yeah. I actually mentioned this at the beginning of my stream. My birthday was technically 2 days ago on the 26th, but today is my legal birthday. I was born on the 26th, but my hospital birth certificate paperwork, all that stuff got messed up. It was put for like the day I was released rather than the day I was actually born. My hospital bracelet is my only proof that I was born on the 26th and not the 28th. The little bracelet that they put on you when you're a baby. Oh yes, very good. You're here. Welcome. I'm so excited. You made it just in time. Yay, happy legal birthday. I know it's always been weird for me celebrating because it's like which day do I celebrate? And I actually wanted to go live on Friday for Fairy Fridays, and because it was my real birthday. But I had a really bad migraine all day. It was just like killing me. And it went into like early today, or was it yesterday? And then even today. But I'm also recovering from a concussion from a few weeks, 3 weeks ago now. So I have headaches almost every day. And sometimes they turn into migraines. And sometimes those migraines last for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. But I'm actually recovering very well. I had an evaluation and follow-up last week where they kind of do all the little tests for your balance and your eyes and all that. I have like a minor nystagmus, which is kind of interesting because 2 of my kids were born with congenital nystagmus. And then my brother also has congenital nystagmus. I've never had it before. And after I had my concussion, I used to get really bad motion sickness. Now that I'm more used to it, I don't get it as bad, but it's been really interesting getting to experience life through their eyes. Like they've had it since they were born, so they don't know anything else. But I've always had, steady vision, and now it's not so steady. So nystagmus is like uncontrolled movements of the eyes. So my eyes go like this rather than staying still. They kind of jerk to the sides. And so in the very beginning, it was making me feel very nauseous because I just like nothing felt like it was still in my body. It's like, is everything just like jerking all the time? Yeah. Last week you had crazy intense migraines for days. This week has been so much better. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I hope you have a fun day planned for your birthday. Yes, I'm taking my kids shopping. They're like, oh, what should we give you for your birthday? I was like, you guys are my birthday present. I'm going to get you stuff. Yeah. They got money from their dad to go get some school clothes because we're moving to Lake Tahoe next week. And so get them some new clothes to start off their new school. Thank you. Ah, yes, very good. Thank you. Last week I had to get pills for an ear infection and it's making me feel sick and not eat much. Yeah, antibiotics are the worst. They gave me, what was it? It was like a really strong one. Not amoxicillin, it was like the other one that's even stronger than that. Because I had to go to the emergency room for a really bad migraine. So they had to do like an MRI or a CAT scan or something. And I had like, I guess, a really like deep sinus infection. They were like, well, have you been stuffy lately? I was like, well, I kind of have allergies, but that's normal this time of year. They're like, there's a lot going on there. We're going to have to give you some hardcore antibiotics and that might help with your migraine. I was like, okay. They put me full of like Benadryl and Tylenol and prochlorazine and a bunch of other stuff. The first round of meds they gave me I didn't respond to at all. Like I was screaming in pain. It was so bad. And so, yeah, that's why they ended up doing the scan to see what else was going on. Yes, if anybody wants to donate for my birthday, I would appreciate it because I'm moving next week and I can use anything at this point. Yes. And my Etsy shop is there too. I currently only have readings available, but please buy a reading. Every little bit helps me right now. You know, donations, orders. I will have this pendant in the shop tomorrow if anybody is interested. It's a beautiful Labradorite pendant. Let's see if you guys can get a better look. Focus camera. There we go. See if we can get it to catch the light a little bit. It's kind of dark in here, so you can't see the pretty blue that's in the Labradorite. And then the back is also pretty cool. And I just polished it up today, so it's all nice and shiny. Yay! Do you like lime and pink pepper chips? Sounds delicious. It sounds really good. I've never had them, but it sounds really good. Best of luck with your move. How exciting. I know, I'm so excited to go back to Tahoe. I love that place. There's just something so magical about it. If anybody's been to Lake Tahoe, let me know in the chat. It's actually where I graduated from high school, and I lived in many different houses in Tahoe. I had many magical experiences. I grew up a lot in Tahoe. I moved there when I was a junior in high school, and that was a big shift, big change. Because actually prior to that, I was a major tomboy. I wore my first skirt ever, first ever to school. Since I was like a little kid, my mom made me wear dresses. But once I was allowed to pick my own clothes, I mostly wore boy clothes because that was what was comfortable for me. I mean, I still do as an adult because that's still what makes me comfortable, but I was able to connect more with like my feminine identity. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just being able to move and rewrite myself. I was like, well, maybe I should try out being a little bit more girly, and I liked it. I actually really enjoy girly stuff. I mean, I still am very much a tomboy, very much. But I like girly stuff now. I like to do my nails. I love pink. And I think part of me was a little bit afraid of being feminine because I had built such a strong identity around being tough and around being a tomboy, because I think that was also kind of a protective mechanism because I was bullied a lot as a kid. I got bullied a lot for being weird, for not being able to talk good, and just not, though I'm not great at talking to people in person. I'm a lot better on camera. And so, yeah, I dealt with a lot of bullying, especially as a kid, a little bit in high school, but not as bad as I did in grade school and middle school. I got bullied a lot. And I think that's part of the reason I built a really tough exterior. And so being able to essentially man up with the dudes kept me feeling more safe, because people didn't mess with me as I became more tough. They didn't mess with me as much. Yeah. They're like, we don't mess with her. She can fight. Yeah, not gonna lie, I can't touch anything charcoal. I can't use charcoal strips for blackheads for what my mom got me, and I can't use charcoal. Oh, are you allergic? Are you allergic to charcoal? It probably like makes you break out, huh? Lake Tahoe, yes, I've been there for vacation. Actually, when my son was newly born, so 9 years ago. Oh my God. I know, where does the time go? Jeez Louise. At school, someone called me flat-chested. Oh, I got that a lot. I've never had, even even now, my kids sucked all my meat out. What was there is gone. I guess the only time I ever had tatas was when I was breastfeeding. And then they were huge and uncomfortable and they hurt. And I always had a child lashed onto them, which was a beautiful experience, don't get me wrong. But it's also exhausting. It's exhausting. I breastfed my son till he was 3, Katana until she was like 2.5. I was pregnant with Rowan. She was still breastfeeding. And then I had a tear. I forget what it's called, but a tear in, so there's like a lining, and then you have the thing that holds the baby, the placenta. It was a tear in the placenta, and so it was like bleeding into the lining. And so it was like she was almost completely surrounded by blood. And so they were like, we don't want to take any chances with, because breastfeeding can cause like contractions. They were like, you're going to have to try to quit breastfeeding just for the sake of the baby, to try to give her any chance she can, because they gave me 50-50 with her. And that's my Rowan Sloan, my little warrior. And gosh, from 14 weeks to every day leading up to when we hit the 22-week mark, and they were like, you got this, you made it to 22 weeks. And I made it to, I think she was born at like 20 something. She was like a month early, I think. I can't remember if it was 4 weeks or 6 weeks early, but she didn't have to do like NICU or anything. She was just really small. Yeah. But she's my little warrior. I'm so proud of her. That's why her middle name is Sloan. And it was funny because when I was pregnant with her, she used to visit me in the form of a beautiful woman with really long red hair that would go down to her feet under a rowan tree. And so Sloan is Red Warrior in Gaelic, and Rowan, we actually ended up going with the R-O-W-E-N form just because we wanted to give it a little bit more of a feminine touch, as well as it also means, I think in French, the new birth, the new grass that's growing. So it's like it was connected to the tree that I would see her under, as far as the name, not particularly the spelling of the name, but the name itself, the rowan tree. And then also, oh, and she had green eyes. So she had really long red hair and green eyes. And when she was born, she had red hair and green eyes. And most babies are born with blue eyes. She was born with green eyes. And she had red hair and green eyes until she was about a year old. And then her hair started getting darker and her eyes started turning more brown. They would start to get brown around the edges, and then they started getting more and more brown until almost all the green was gone. But she was my little red-haired baby with green eyes. I just Googled Lake Tahoe, so wonderful. Yeah, it's very spiritual. You should look up Cave Rock. It's really sad that they drilled a big hole in it, because it actually is a very sacred place to the natives there. But it's still, like, even driving through it, you can feel the energy. Lake Tahoe is, there might be one in New Zealand. I have no idea. It's in California. So in California, when you look at the state, it kind of goes down and then turns where Nevada is in California. And there's that little angle there. The lake is literally like right on the angle. And so you have State Line, Nevada, and Lake Tahoe right there. So South Lake Tahoe, where I'm from, is actually, State Line is right there where the casinos are. And so you can literally stand in two states at the same time. And then, yeah, sorry. I'm much better on camera too. I'm really bad in person. Oh my God. I don't do well in person. I'm not good at talking in person. I get really nervous. I stutter a lot more. I think my lisp comes out more when I'm excited. But when I'm nervous, I stutter a lot. And that's definitely more in person. And I mean, I'm not good at looking at people. Like, I can't look at them when I talk. Otherwise, I can't really talk. And so I look around a lot, and that kind of throws people off. A lot of people thought I was like on stuff for a long time just because my behavior was so kind of odd. And I've never really had issues with drugs. So kind of constantly people thinking that about me just because I was so different. I also have ADHD, so I'm really, really hyper and I talk really fast. So also there's that, and I move around a lot and I'm very kind of like fidgety. So that didn't help at all. People be like, what are you on? Now I can just be like the spectrum. But I didn't know that then. I just tell people I had ADD because I was diagnosed with that when I was a kid. I mean, that was very obvious though. Like I could not pay attention at all. I used to actually, if I didn't have a teacher that would advocate for me, I would have to advocate for myself and tell the teacher, like, I have to sit in the front of the classroom or I can't pay attention. I can't hear what you're saying because I get too distracted by what's around me that I completely lose everything. Everything you said, it's gone. It's going right. It's not connecting with my brain. I'm visiting a client and friend for 2 days this week. Good for me to meet up in person. It's always so hard. Oh, you are allergic to charcoal. Oh, that sucks. I mean, we all have things. I wouldn't say we all have things that we're allergic to, but a lot of us do. But charcoal is something that would be kind of challenging because it's in a lot of things. I'm allergic to PGEs, and it's in so many things like hair stuff, medicines, or PEGs. Did I say that right? I said PGEs, PEGs. It's in vaccines even. It's in, little cupcakes that you eat. I get really bad hives on my body when I take them. Even Benadryl has it. It's like I have to look at the specific allergy medicines to make sure it doesn't have it. Most cold medicines have it. Salad dressings have it. Shampoo has it. Toothpaste, makeup, all of it. So it's like if I start getting hives, I have to check the ingredients label. That's so beautiful, child of the stars. Born against all odds, star child warrior. Oh my gosh, she's my little warrior baby. Like she had to fight every day to survive. And like when I was in the early stages of pregnancy with her, when I had the initial tear, I had gotten so big. I was just like, it was kind of surprising. I looked like I was 6 months pregnant and I was only 14 weeks. And it was very, very, it was concerning. How many children do you have? I have 3. So I have a soon-to-be 16-year-old. My middle child just turned 11. Her birthday was on the 17th. And Rowan is turning 9. I can't believe it. She's turning 9. It's insane. Yeah, nothing wrong with flat-chested. Honestly, I used to hate myself for not having anything here, and when I did have big ones, it was not fun. Yeah. I was like very self-conscious about my chest. Like I constantly felt like I was like, whew. So once they went back to their normal size, I actually felt a lot more comfortable in my body. And those of you that got the big ones, like, enjoy them. I think it's easier if you grow up used to them. For me, having them after not was just like, I was just like, like, don't look at them. I was also very self-conscious in my early stages of being a mom. I think I was having to learn how to grow up a lot while my kids were growing up. It's because of them that I have stepped into my own person. And I realized that a lot through them. Yes. Not in the US, so keep these places. Oh, you're in New Zealand. Oh, okay. I've always wanted to go there, to New Zealand. It looks so beautiful. Search up Lake Taupo. It's a really big lake in New Zealand. I'm going to have to do that. I am going to have to do that. I can see why. It does sound like Lake Tahoe, Taupo. You get social anxiety too. Oh, I feel for you. Mine is so bad. I can't even sit in like waiting rooms. I go to like one grocery store in this town, and even that is overwhelming. And even though I know where everything is, I like won't go up to the checkout where you have to actually go to people. Like I have to do self-checkout. If I can't do self-checkout, I have an immediate panic attack. And when I first moved here, they didn't let you pump your own gas, and that literally made me hate getting gas. I was so happy when they started letting us pump our own gas. And it was funny because one time they had all the self things like off, and I had to go to like the service where, because they have half where you can self-serve and half where they'll pump your gas for you. Because people in Oregon, most of them, you know, have had other people pump their gas. And it's always such an intense experience for me. I'm like, I actually have to like talk to people and hand them my card and tell them what I want. I was like, I just want to be able to do it for myself. When I meet you in person, Fairy, one day we can sit in silence and meditation and chat telepathically or just jam. Oh, that'd be great. I would love that. And I used to actually be in a group. It was a few years ago now. It was like 2020. It was an alchemy group, and we used to have like telepathic meditations where we would basically not talk to each other. We would go into like journeys together, and it was my first time ever getting to like use telepathy with other people and connect with people outside of words. And it was actually like surprisingly like really comforting, really comfortable. And you know, I'm sure I bet you anything, there's a lot of autistic kids that are actually very telepathic and just have never been given the right environment to explore that part of themselves. Oh, you have ADHD too? ADHD besties, yay! Yes, thank you for sharing. Not gonna lie, I have a friend who hasn't had a mom, and so I'm just being like her older sister so she doesn't feel alone. Oh, that's so beautiful. It's really important to have somebody in your life, even if they aren't your actual mom, that lets you feel nurtured. I remember when I connected with Mother Nature for the first time and she pulled me into her arms and held me. I cried so hard because I had never felt ever in my life that kind of comfort. That feeling of being held by a mother. And I'm just like, I'm getting chills even thinking about it. Just like the feeling of her energy wrapping around me in this like most beautiful hug I've ever felt. I just felt so safe and so warm. That was actually one of my very, very early, when I first started tapping back into my clairvoyance, one of my very early journeys. I mean, I've always been clairvoyant, but it's extremely overwhelming for me. So I learned how to kind of shut it down in a way where it's like anytime anything would start to happen, I would just kind of like distract myself out of it. You know, that's why going to sleep was always very hard for me. I used to take a lot of like different things. I tried a lot of different things. I can't take melatonin because it actually keeps me up all night. But I was taking Tylenol PM for a while, but that wasn't helping me either because I started having nightmares. The one thing that did work for me, and I'm trying to think of the name, it's like a root, valerian root. That one I think was probably the only one that really helped as far as sleep goes. But I would wear myself down until the point I could not keep my eyes open, just so I wouldn't have to have that kind of that interim before I fell asleep where my clairvoyance was just so intense. I wanted to just go straight from awake to fully asleep so that I didn't have to experience the intensity of that. And once I got older and started acknowledging and exploring it, one of my very, very early experiences was with Mother Nature and getting to feel that nurturing, comforting love. And it was just, I think it also really helped me a lot because it was like, actually, you know, this is a really beautiful thing. And as overwhelming as it can be, it can take me places that can create a lot of comfort for me. And even now I still get a little bit overwhelmed with it and will kind of wear myself down to the point where I like literally like passing out as soon as I fall asleep because I'm too tired. I've even told myself, like, I don't want to go on a journey right now. I just want to no, don't take me there right now. So a lot of times, like if I don't have a set destination or plan or where I'm going, I just start seeing things that don't make any sense. Like why, like what is the point? What are you trying to show me? It doesn't make any sense. And I don't want to look at it. Sometimes it's a little bit scary. Sometimes it makes me start thinking, well, like, is that something that's going to happen to me or somebody that I know? Because I don't like that. So yeah, other people out there that also have abilities, especially more amplified ones, can relate, I'm sure. Yeah, 16, 11, and 9, they grow so fast. 19 and 16, I swear your kids were just kids last time I saw them. Like, I'm not on social media anymore, but they were so young. I can't believe your son is already 15, right? No, 16. And your daughter, she's going to university, right? 19? Yeah. It's funny because you met your wife when you were 15. No way. Yeah. I was 18 when I met my kid's dad. And yeah, over 20 years together. You also have 3 children. 3 is a good number. Jansu, welcome. Hi. You're here for my post. I guess we are now 26 minutes past my birthday. I'm 39. Yes, love your body. Thank you. I have learned to step into my grace. I was not graceful before. I was actually very awkward. And I think doing dance classes was a huge part of being able to step into that part of myself. I remember when I first started doing classes, so we have a studio here called Sexy Fit. And so I first started doing chair with my friend Libby, and it was so fun, even though I felt so awkward. I was just like, oh my God, I feel so awkward, but I had so much fun. I kept going to chair every Saturday, and then I kind of ventured out into taking pole and floor play classes to kind of get into more of my sensual side. And I had already done some pole before, like self-taught, and I had originally started it just because I have a lot of physical problems, a lot of back problems, and so I got it to kind of build my upper body strength because I don't do well with anything impact workouts. Like I can't jump, I can't run. It actually hurts my joints, it hurts my body, it causes more pain. And I don't really get a lot of progress from it. So I was seeing like immediate progress. My body was getting a lot stronger really fast. So I picked that back up under the guidance of really incredible teachers, was able to kind of step into a sensual, empowered part of myself that I never knew existed. And I miss it. It's probably going to be a little while before I can get back into my 9-inch heels because my concussion actually kind of broke my vestibular system, so I have a really hard time with balance. And I tend to close my eyes a lot when I dance, and I can't do that anymore. I topple over. So once I've had a chance to kind of heal, and the nystagmus might not be permanent. It could be or it might not be. I have gotten a lot better. I don't like get motion sickness or anything anymore. It's just weird in the beginning to kind of have your surroundings jitter, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like they don't move. It's more like they jitter, like they shift. And it makes your body feel like it's shifting. It's very odd. But and I'm like used to it now. It doesn't really bother me. Yeah, but yeah, I got to meet a side of myself, a super sexy, super like sensual, like divine, like literally felt so into myself in ways that I didn't know was possible, and really boosted my self-esteem. It made me feel really good about myself. And yeah, it's funny because I was just thinking about the last time I was in, it was actually just an open pole. I wore my butterfly skirt that I had made for competition. I was going to do PSO competition in San Francisco. So it's pole sport. And I was going to do I was going to go for the themed, because there's different groups that you can do. So I was actually going to do mine based on Psyche's story. And so that's actually, I wrote the song Psyche's Redemption, which is the one I just posted for that competition. And so the last video I have, and really the only video I have now, because my old phone that had all of my old videos and all of my old practice sessions was remotely factory reset. And so I no longer have any of those videos or songs. And I don't actually know who or how it happened. It was very unfortunate. It was really sad because I lost everything. And now I have, the only thing I have is that one video of my very last practice. So maybe I'll post it someday so you guys can see. I think I've been kind of still a little hesitant about it, but I feel like that's my own self-consciousness, and so I need to get over that. Maybe just me talking about it right now will be a good motivator to put that together. And I'll use my Psyche's song too. Maybe I'll use a different version than the one I posted. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I have a couple different versions of it. Like a softer version, I have like an R&B kind of softer R&B version. I have a bluesy version. I have a more like, I guess you could call it like a Celtic rock version. I think the one I posted is more, no, I think the one I posted was the Celtic rock version. I can't remember which one I posted earlier now. I think it was. Yeah. In the UK, it's all self-service. Yeah, I don't like it when other people have to pump my gas. I don't like it. I don't like it when other people have to ring up my groceries. I want to do it myself. I don't want to have somebody else do it. You're in Oregon, and it was definitely adjustment. Yeah, that's how I felt, because I learned how to drive in California, and you pump your own gas there. Like, you don't have other people do it, and so it was really uncomfortable for me. I didn't want to do it. I avoided it at all costs. So I was so happy when they started letting you do it here. Wish the Great Pacific Garbage Bed and other bad things for nature disappears because it's hurting Mother Nature. I agree. Humans in general need to start shifting their behaviors, and as much as we can do things on an individual level, it really starts with the manufacturers. Like, they're the ones that, like, because from personal experience, like, if you're poor, it's really hard to access things that are, fully biodegradable. And I used to really like the way that California did their garbage too, because you have a lot more, you have like compost and recycling and then regular garbage. And so we used to have like this whole system. And so our garbage actual can was relatively small. We don't have as much access to that here where I live in my apartment. And it was a big adjustment for me too, because I constantly felt like I was throwing away things that I should have been composting. And you're only allowed to recycle certain things. So a lot of the things that I used to recycle, I wasn't able to recycle anymore. And so that's always been hard for me. But like I said, like, if the manufacturers would start, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. A lot of them have made changes to make things more sustainable, but on a bigger level, it needs to be happening more and more. We need to do away with the things that don't go away over time, that sit there for thousands of years and build up and are put into our oceans, for crying out loud, and killing our sea life. Someday I want to live just like in a place where I can have everything's like self-sustained, all my food, electricity, everything. That is my biggest wish, is to be off-grid. Have you ever had this thing when you have dreams to do with something in real life and it comes true? Because I keep having that. Yep, ever since I was a kid. It used to bother me a lot, but I'm used to it now. It's called prophetic dreaming, and it's a gift. Don't dismiss it, but also don't be afraid of it. We all have gifts. We all have abilities. Everybody's is different. Your abilities are as unique as your fingerprint. Just because two people are clairvoyant doesn't mean that they're going to experience the same way. From my personal experience, I tend to have very different types of clairvoyant experiences than other clairvoyants that I've met. And even like when I was learning how to understand and use my telepathy, I felt like it was different than the way that the other members in the group were experiencing it. Our biological families aren't always our actual families. We tend to meet our real ones as we live these lives. I can definitely tell you that. I have people in my life that feel more like family than actual family. I actually have a pretty good family. Like my siblings are really incredible support systems and great people. My extended family, not so much. I don't have really relationships with them, but also growing up, I felt like they all kind of hated me. So I never developed relationships with them. I was kind of the cousin that nobody wanted to play with, and so I would play alone a lot. I wasn't ever invited out, you know, when cousins would go play together. I was never like allowed to be there. And if I was, I always felt like I was there because they were told that I had to be there, and then I just felt uncomfortable anyways. So I spent a lot of time with myself. But I also, you know, I had really cool childhood experiences. And I was able to make connections with nature and with the Fae that I wouldn't have had if I would have been too distracted playing with cousins. The Fae were my friends. Orbicron, no way. Hi, good to see you. Long time no see. I gotten out of dance classes because of tonsils removal. You'll get back. You'll get back. You'll get back to it. Just like I told myself, you know, I'm going to get back into dance classes. I just have to let myself heal. And I'm already healing a lot. Like, I've come a long way since, like, the beginning of my concussion when things were really hard. Like, I couldn't even walk straight, man. I constantly felt like, you know, like I was a drunk person. Like, I literally had a hard time walking normal. Felt like I was drunk all the time. It was really uncomfortable. But now that I'm like more used to everything, then I've gotten a lot better. My brain is healing. You know, I'm more used to like the way that things feel in my body now. Because when your vestibular system breaks, like everything kind of feels differently. Your whole body feels differently. Your balance is very different. So it's like, it's an adjustment period. If any of you guys have ever gotten a concussion, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, like the video, guys. If you haven't had a chance to like the video, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. And if you feel like you want to leave a donation, I appreciate that too. I have links in my information box. It really helps. I'm moving to Lake Tahoe, and every little bit helps. So even if you just want to give a birthday gift. Yes. Is it normal for a big vein to show up on your whole arm? Man, I have like the hugest veins that are always popping out. You see those? My veins are veiny. I got massive veins. I actually have to warn phlebotomists sometimes about certain veins. I'm like, that one's a squirter. Like, don't go for it. I know it's big and it's beautiful and it looks easy to poke, but trust me, you will regret it. Good night, Val, my pals. Thank you. Yes, get some sleep. I know how it is. You know, those kiddos in the morning. 12:38. I got to be out of here soon, too, because my kids wake up kind of early. Well, not so much because they were up late tonight. It's Saturday night, so I let them stay up late. I think it was almost 10 when Rowan finally fell asleep. But she is always like one of the last ones awake. I know Joey's still up right now, but he stays up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like me. He has a really hard time going to sleep at night, so I try not to get on him about it too much. He does online school, so it's not like he has to be up early in the morning. Although when we move to Tahoe, he is going to have to start getting on a better sleep schedule because he's going to be going to the high school there. The high school I graduated from. I'm so excited for him to experience that. It's changed a lot. It was pretty ghetto. when I went to school there. But it's in the middle of the forest, which is really cool, you know, high school in the middle of the forest. Walking from class to class, you're literally walking through trees to get to classes. Pretty dense forest at that. And during the winter, you can literally snowboard to school. Like, no joke, people used to do it all the time. All right, good night, Val. Good night, Lisa. It was nice to meet you. I've got Psyche's Redemption playing in the background. Yes. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're listening to it. So the lyrics behind that song are so important to me. I wrote it based on the story of Psyche, but also based on my own story, as I related to her story so much. And I'm not talking about the common myth of Psyche. I'm talking if you go deep research into Psyche's true story. And actually, I think I'm going to post her true story at some point, because I think that it's a story that more people need to know. And we all have a little bit of Psyche in us, because she was the first human. She was Fae, and then she was the first human prototype or template before, you know, the Adamic humans came around. So we all have a little bit of Psyche in us. That's why they call it the Psyche. You're back. You were meditating. Yay. How was your meditation? Yes. Unless you're lifting weights with only that arm, probably not. Maybe get it checked. Might not be a problem. You could just be like me. All my veins are always huge. Like, I'm not lifting weights. And look at that. Look at that guy. I've always been very veiny, though. People are like, what's going on with your arms? And I'm like, I'm just like that. Also, I think some of us, like, I don't know if it's a hypermobility thing. We have different skin. But it keeps me looking young. Yeah, because I don't have that many wrinkles for somebody who's almost 40. And I think that's because my skin is like a different texture than most people's. It's smoother. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's different. I have different skin. But it could be also a hypermobility thing. I did an I Ching reading asking who was the light ships flying around are to me, since I was having odd experiences. And the title of the hexagram answer was literally family. Oh, I love that. So I used to have experiences when I was a kid that were very, very confusing to me. I didn't understand them, and I was really scared of the sky when I was a kid. I couldn't walk by windows at night unless they were covered. It wasn't until I was older that I started understanding that a lot of it was like I was scared of the things in the sky, but I'm not scared of them anymore. I've learned to acknowledge them, and I see all kinds of activity now. Outside of the insane amount of satellites that are in the sky now, which is so interesting. I've learned to tell the difference, though. That's the thing. It's like the more time you spend looking at the sky, the more you learn to see what is, you know, not a satellite. I've actually seen a couple really interesting ships. I saw one that was identical to the ships that they saw at the Phoenix Lights. I saw one that I'm pretty sure it was human. It felt human. And when I looked it up online, it looked like those ones that were called, I think, TRB3. And then I saw one with Brett, actually, that looked like a big cruise ship. And it was funny because I tried to get it on camera and it wouldn't show on my camera, but I could see it with my eyes and he could see it too. So I know I wasn't just saying, but it literally looked like a cruise ship in the sky. And then the one I saw most recently, just a couple months ago, was like semi-cloaked. Like you couldn't fully see it, but it's like it came from the side and then it like darted that way and then shot that way. Obviously, and it was definitely within our atmosphere. Like it wasn't, there's no possible way it could have been an airplane or a drone or anything but what I saw. Like there is no way that it could have been anything unless the government has gotten really good at cloaking their things. Because it was so quick. there was no way for me to like fully tune into its energy. But I feel like, you know, my location here, because twice I've seen go through the exact same trajectory, like same place in the sky, same spot, like literally like right there. The first one was the one that looked like the Phoenix Lights one, and then the second one was the one that looked like the TRB3 one. So it's like, I feel like there's some kind of like a energetic highway there, an invisible highway that can be used by crafts. Speaking of crafts, by the way, and like ET, alien, extraterrestrial influences, whatever along those lines, whatever, depending on your own belief systems, Silent Wars has a lot to do with that, that experience. So I'll have to share that song soon. Oh, good morning, Robert. Nice to have you here. I'm actually not going to be on for much longer. I told myself I wouldn't stay on past 1 a.m. and it's 12:45, but I did want to spend some time with you guys just in case I wasn't able to make it on tomorrow. I wanted to ring in my birthday with y'all. Yeah, and I do have to get up at a decent hour tomorrow because I'm taking my kids school shopping and celebrating my birthday with them by getting them stuff with their dad's money. The cloaking is insane. There was a semicircle of light, like a ball chain, just rotating above the house. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the circular ones yet. The pyramid one, yes. The triangular ones, yes. The cruise ship ones, yes. And then I have seen, I call them blinkers, because I don't know what else to call them. Like, they don't have an actual shape to them. But when you first notice them, it's very confusing. You're like, is that a plane? Like, what is that? Because it's so bright, it looks like an airplane. But then like, once you latch onto it with your attention, it quickly becomes less and less dim until it disappears. And then it'll like blink at you. Like, it'll show itself again real quick. It'll be like, blink. And you'll be like, I'm going to wait and see if that happens again. And then it'll be like, blink. That's why I call them the blinkers. Amazing. I have a new series of sky watching videos, which I film with my night vision camera. I love it when the ships interact with us. Oh, that's so cool. I'm going to have to watch that. I think I saw like it pop up on my notifications, but I had a migraine at the time and can't watch my phone when I have a migraine. Yeah. Yes, I'm going to check them out too. It'll be fun. Yeah. But I really do think I should start wrapping it up. I'm going to put my cards away. And if anybody feels like they want to leave a donation, I would love it. I would appreciate it. I could definitely use it. If not, please buy a reading from my shop. Or this gorgeous pendant will be in there tomorrow. Get a better picture of it. It's labradorite, so if anybody hasn't seen it yet, this will be like the 3rd time I showed it, so hopefully somebody wants to buy it tomorrow. I can't really do international shipping right now though, because I don't know how to do that with all the new stuff that's going on. I would have to look into it. If somebody really wanted it, you would have to message me privately about it, send me an email or something. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to put it on you, because I was trying to figure that out earlier today, because I know I have a lot of you that watch me that are not in the United States, and I was like, how do I do it the right way? Because I didn't know how to price it. I was like, because I have no idea how much it's going to cost. And I remember even a few years ago, before we had all these new regulations on international stuff, it cost me like $19 to ship like a bracelet. I was like, it costs more to ship the darn thing than the person paid for it. And it was like, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that again. I think the blinkers are motherships. I saw a smaller light fly into one. Yeah, those ones are definitely like way out in space. because it's like you're questioning, like, is that a plane? And then you start thinking, oh, well, maybe it's just a really bright star, like Venus bright. But then it's like it disappears, and then it blinks at you, and you're like, what? What? That's why I call them the blinkers. Like, well, you got my attention. Yeah, inflation doesn't make sense for homemade things, but yeah, it's really makes it hard. That's probably why I haven't sold or shipped anything in years, because I'm like, I don't even know how to price them anymore. It's like, so I was trying to think of like what would be a typical ground. Even before it was like $9 for, you know, just like a small box of things. But I'm like, I could probably fit this into like an envelope. So I think, I don't know. Maybe I'll just put it for free shipping and just put the price at a reasonable point that even if it was a little bit higher shipping, it would still be okay as far as cost of materials and time. Like this thing took me probably over 20 hours to make. At least 20 or more hours to make. There's a lot of work in there. If you saw it more up close, you can see there's a lot of work in there. A lot of wrapping. I mean, lots of hours into this thing. Send it down the river. Yes, check out my Etsy shop. This will be available tomorrow. Once I can decide on a reasonable price for it, that will also cover shipping. But this piece has a lot of love into it and a lot of hours and a lot of energy. All of my pieces do. If you buy a pendant from me, you can guarantee there's over 20 hours put into that pendant, sometimes 30, sometimes 40. Like some of the pendants that I've made are incredibly intricate. I actually have one that I made for Bravery that's taken me 3 years to finish, and I still haven't fully finished it. Yeah, I'll have to reach out to him and let him know that it's almost done. I'm working on the chain of it now. The actual pendant is done. It still has to be dipped and polished, but yeah, it took me 3 years to finish. Thank you. Ah, yes, very good. I'm really looking forward to my last year in my 30s and even going into my 40s, man. 40s is the new 20. I feel like I am more connected to myself now as an older woman than I was when I was a young 20-something. I was still a child. And I feel more like into my womanness now, nearing 40, and baby factory's shutting down, thank God. Yeah, if you're getting close to 40 or if you're in your 40s, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the hot flashes aren't great, but yeah. That extra boosted testosterone is a little bit helpful sometimes and gets you moving and shaking. Yeah, I've made a couple real simple ones that didn't take me as many hours, but I have a really hard time with that, like, because I always want to keep adding to it, keep adding to it. I have to like have self-control with the simpler ones. Yeah. But maybe I will try to do some simpler ones and put those in my shop too. I have some acrylic, the epoxy type ones that I was gonna throw in my shop. Oh, sticking. I get very sweaty, guys. Sorry, I'm sticking to everything. Let's see if I can find one. Like these. The little zodiac ones. And then these ones I made with stones. That is, oh, the glare is not helping. Unakite and jade. Cancer. I actually don't have all of my zodiac ones. I kind of went through an impulsive purge and threw a bunch of my stuff away, including a bunch of my molds. just because they were kind of dirty, and I was trying to get rid of anything that I wasn't going to need right away. And then I instantly regretted it, and I'm like, well, they're gone now. But it's okay. I have a couple other things that are small. Like this guy right here. I just have to like clean up the bottom with my files, but this I'm going to put in my shop too. It's just a little tower that I made. So it's got jade, black tourmaline, citrine. It's got shungite here in the bottom. And then that is, what do you call it? Gosh, I'm blanking on it. It's God, what is it? I can't remember. It's that really light colored blue stone. If you have past lives or feel connected to like Atlantean past lives, it's a great stone to work with that energy. So this will be in my shop soon once I get it. The bottom parts are still like a little sharp, so I have to file those and clean them up. But yeah, it's a cute little pyramid. So I'll have a few things into my shop soon once I am able to sit down and spend some time with them. We have hobbies and toys now. I want a camper. Oh, I bet that would be fun. I love campers. Yes, your motorhome has been such an extremely beautiful part of your journey. I love watching your little motorhome journeys. And I think that that also may have been a catalyst to kind of your life shifts. You're 48? No way. 40 seems so young now. Life doesn't get much easier with age. We get more practice. I know. I have to say, you see things differently. Looking back on my 20s, I learned a lot from that in hindsight, but while I was in my 20s, I was very reckless. I think having kids was really important because it kind of calmed my ass down and kept me alive. I made a lot of like bad choices. Yeah. And our brains are still developing into our 20s, so like your prefrontal cortex still is developing, so your decision-making skills aren't quite there yet. All right, well, I'm gonna call it, guys. It is 12:57. It's almost 1. I love you all. I had so much fun hanging out with you and kind of ringing in my birthday with y'all. And if I have the energy, I will try to pop on again tomorrow, but no promises. All right. Bye, everyone.